Okay, Kim, take over the admin again so we can admit people as we go. Morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, a Real Estate Live session with a special and dear friend, incredible human being, Dan Ihara. Dan is a Hawaii native, and he's running a big show, not just in Hawaii, but all over the country, all over the world, actually. But kind of in a nutshell, and Dan can share more about himself. But he's a serial entrepreneur. He runs and operates multiple businesses. One of the main things he's going to share with us today. He runs a mega team. I think out of the Honolulu Market Center. And he's been part of Gary Keller's mastermind group, private mastermind group, since 2013. He's amazing human being. Again, he's a coach, and he's here to share with us his passion and also his leadership around the KW Planner. That's one of our communities in the company. So Dan, good to have you.
Thank you so much, Meny. Appreciate your time. All righty, guys. I'm going to go share a quick PowerPoint here, if that's okay. Might help us out a little. Let's see if I can move this. How do I move this over here, though?
Yeah, Kim, can you hold on? There we go.
Get this to here.
There we go.
Oh, wait, my bad. Okay. I don't have my technical support today, so my apologies. I'm going to have to move my eyes back and forth. So, hey, everybody, welcome. My name is Dan Ihara. We have a large team here in Honolulu, Hawaii. There's 24 of us. We're the #1 team in the state of Hawaii. We did $113 million of business last year. While I traveled a good portion of the year with KW Real Estate Planner. KW Real Estate Planner is a new community in KW. It was designed mainly because Gary saw a need, right? He saw that there's a need for us to help a demographic that will definitely need to sell this year, okay? And this is a very specific niche market that is really prevalent in your market. And this is where a good portion of the listings will come from this year, okay? So what is the opportunity? Well, right now we're also feeling the same effects, right? Inventory is probably a little bit harder to get to, maybe less motivating, right? Because the move-up buyer is not doing that, right? They're not leaving their 3% interest rate and going to 6% interest rate and paying more at a price as well. So those guys are going to sit tight. So who's really going to be selling? Well, it's going to be the baby boomers and their parents. Right, the baby boomers and their parents are going to have a life change that's going to show up, and they're going to have a need to sell. So it doesn't matter if the interest rate's 6, 7, 8%. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the stock market goes to the crappers. It doesn't matter if our values, our net worth is reduced significantly because of the economy, because these people will have to sell. Okay, so if we put a focus on this is what we did in 2000 and when we started in 2005. My wife and I, we started with this model from the beginning. And during years of 6, 7, and 8, and you all know, experience it if you've been in real estate that long, you realize that there was a huge crushing drop in the market, right? People weren't selling things. And that's going to happen again. And that's why Gary says he put us on a fast track. I didn't want to do this until this year. We started late last year. He says, no, get this going fast. Our people need this, because this is where the listings are, right? This is where the people with a need to sell will sell, okay? So what you want to also know is that there's over 2.1 million older adults over the age of 65 that will die this year. 80% of them own real estate. That's 1.68 million potential listings hitting the market this year alone. And if you went to Family Reunion, you saw that transaction count around the country is going to go from 6 million down to closer to 4 million. If 4 million closed transactions happen and 1.68 million are in this demographic alone, where should you focus? And that's why he said, get out there, get into the regions, get into the market centers, and share this knowledge, because this is how our KW family is going to build their business, right? Also keep in mind that there's over 2.2 million older adults that are going to retire this year. What happens when they retire? A good portion of them are going to move. Well, when they move, what do they do with their home? Right? They're going to sell it. So there's this huge wave that's coming now, and we're focused directly on it as a real estate planner. So what are the problems, right? What are the opportunities? Well, there's two main opportunities. One is that this demographic, 65 and older, at some point in their life, they're retirees, their kids are gone, they're empty nested, and their home's not going to work for them very well. The other part of this, that's the known problem. Here's the unknown problem. The unknown problem is they have investment properties that are a burden and they want to get rid of it, but they don't want to pay capital gains taxes. So we have a solution around that. It's called a 1031 exchange, and we master that. Just imagine that if 34% of all investment properties, all properties are investment properties, who owns those? The same demographic, right? And they're already thinking ahead of, oh, shoots, my kids aren't going to be able to handle this, right? So in the world of senior relocation services, because this is one of the certifications that we offer, right? At some point, their home's not going to work for them very well, and they're going to need to find a new home. Well, what if you were that person? What if you were able to create be almost like a placement company for an older adult that needs to leave their home? Because what are their questions? Where do I go? How much does it cost? What does life look like? How do I get there? Those are the four main questions they're going to ask themselves, right? And if you know that, you know, I said this on stage with Gary, I said, you know, in business, if you can identify a problem, make it clear to the consumer that they have a problem, and you provide a solution, you're going to win. Doesn't matter what business you're in, you're going to win, right? And that's what we do in real estate. This is the largest asset they own, ladies and gentlemen, and they own millions and millions and millions of dollars in it, and they don't know what to do with it, right? And people are going to call you for advice because they're going to realize that you have some answers that nobody else does. See, most realtors are going to say, well, if you have to move, well, call me when you figure out where you're going to go, and call me when you're ready to sell, right? What we do is we get way in front of that pipeline. We'll get months to years in front of any realtor even knowing that this property is going to go on sale, right? And that's the key. Build the moat around your business, as Gary mentioned to me. He told me you built a moat around your business, so there's no competition, right? And that's what we're suggesting you do in your market. Strongly suggest that. You know, sellers going to know that you care, because what we teach you is how to ask a question, not how to sell yourself. Selling yourself comes by asking the question. And most realtors and most salespeople in general only want to talk at somebody and tell them how great they are. What we do is we coach you to how to have the right conversation, how to ask the right question, such that you help somebody self-discover a path that they won't. See, because if I ask you a question, Meny, whatever you say, you own that, right? You own that statement, right? But if I tell you something, you don't have to own it. You could say, no, I don't like this guy, but I'm not going to say anything, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what happens, right? And so we want to lead with questions, not with statements, right? You're going to secure more listings, and you're going to build a shift-proof niche. And you're going to do it where you're going to get referrals from trusted advisors. Imagine wealthy older adults in your market. Who are their advisors? Well, I can tell you who they are. It's a CPA, because they make a lot of money and they pay a lot of taxes, right? So CPA, a trust attorney, because they have to protect everything, right? And a financial planner who manages their liquid assets. So when somebody's going to go around and think of making a move or think of selling something, who do they go to? They'll go to these three people. They're going to usually start with the financial planner. What if you had a model around attracting the financial planner? This is what we teach. We teach you how to attract the business so that you're not on the phone all day calling people you don't know. In our model, we don't call anybody we don't know. Why do you do that for? Right? Because we have a way to attract them to maybe thinking differently about their wealth, right? Our goal in the Keller Williams Real Estate Planner is to help people build wealth and transfer wealth. Who do you know that we should talk to? That's a conversation that we have every day. Who do you know we want to? And everybody goes, well, that's me. I want to build wealth and transfer wealth, right? And then you can open a conversation. It's that easy. It's so easy, right? And then you're going to get a larger lead funnel from agents before other agents will. Now, why are they downsizing? A lot of it, they're downsizing because of physical challenges, knees, hips, back. Anytime they have a two-story home, that's going to be problematic. mental health challenges. Memory loss is a big deal, and it's happening all over. It's the unseen disease that we don't see. The person might look normal, but they lost cognitive abilities, right? And it starts for myself, like I'm forgetful, like where'd my keys go, right? I'm going to be 60 this year. But what happens when you're 80? What happens when you're 85, right? Those are real things. And that's why people are going to move. They're moving to pay for long-term care needs. They're also moving because of family. What we see is that when the kids are gone and one person passes away, now you have a widow, they're going to go where the heart takes them, right? The heart's going to take them to their grandkids, right? What if you could create a simple, smooth path for that? See, understanding the problem is the first step of the solution, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to move in with family, some of them. Many of them are going to move just because the house is too big, right? You got a 3, 4, 5 bedroom home. Now it's just you and your spouse. And over time, you're looking at, man, I don't think we need this big house. We never go upstairs. I got to tell you how many times I've gone into a home just like this, and the doors are closed to the bedroom. And I asked, is it okay if I open the door? I open the door and it's little Johnny's room. Poor little Johnny. It's like Johnny left like yesterday, and Johnny's 55 years old now. It's still like when he left his house. Why do we do that? Because we love our kids.
Yeah.
Because we believe that one day their dream is they're going to come home. Well, they're not going to come home, right? They're not going to live in mom's house. They want to live in their own house, right? And these are things that are happening in every day in every community that once we understand and we can provide a solution, we're going to help. And then once you help them sell, and some are selling and buying or something smaller. This is the proactive person. The proactive person says, my kids aren't coming home. I don't need the big house. I'm going to sell what I know I can sell, when it's easier. And I'm going to travel. I'm going to lock the doors and just go. I'm not going to worry about the pine trees. I'm not going to worry about the yard. I'm just going to live my life the way I want to live it. This is a proactive baby boomer. And then many are moving into retirement communities. Retirement communities is the largest destination for older adults. It's the fastest growing area of real estate where this demographic goes to. And it's real simple to find. All you got to do is go to Google and say retirement communities near me, and they'll all pop up. And every city I go to, I do it. And it's so amazing that they're all over you and you just don't even know. This is where they're going, ladies and gentlemen. If you can know where they're going and you meet somebody that says, shucks, I don't know if I want to stay here any longer, and you could tell them, well, I can help you if you'd like. You're gonna create a stronger relationship, and you're gonna get that business, right? Gary always talks about relationships, and we're moving a transactional agent, an agent seen as a commodity, to a relational consultant, somebody that people will go to many moons before they're ready to sell, and you're gonna get all this referral business because of it.
Yeah.
And some are going to move to a lower cost of living, or some are moving to warmer climates. We see a lot of that. Hawaii is expensive. California is expensive. Where do we see them moving? To places that are less expensive, right? And that are still warmer. They're not going up north. We see them going through Georgia, Arizona, Georgia, Tennessee, that belt, the Bible Belt, that whole area. That's where they're going because it's warmer and the cost of living is cheaper. I mean, it's probably half or less than half the cost of where they are today. Why do they do that? It stretches their money. The biggest concern that an older adult has is, will I run out of money? And if you can be that person to help them understand that they're not going to run out of money, that there's ways to plan to exhaust your money so that you can enjoy the life you want, you're going to win. And then, what are the options when somebody says, I can't stay home, where do I go? Some are downsizing to a smaller house. Some are living with family and friends. A lot are moving to retirement communities. The reactive person is moving to a care home. A care home is a place where they need care and they didn't plan for that. It just showed up. So they reacted to that. So what's the problem? Well, if their home doesn't work any longer, where do I go? They need to move, and you want to be the solution. And the complete solution, which we built about a decade ago, Meny, was because a retirement community company told me those words, and a financial planner told me those words. You are the complete solution to this demographic. And this is what you want to be, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to build a listing pipeline business, you're going to want to understand that you can solve these problems and you're going to be able to help them. The first thing is to help them find a new home. So study the retirement community, study the options, study care, study what happens when we get older, understand the demographic. And that's what we teach in our community. Their stuff is going to be the hardest problem. We use this acronym called SORT: sell, offer, retain, and toss. I say everything in your house fits in one of 4 piles. And they go, well, you haven't seen my house. I got way more piles. No. We keep it simple. Okay. Everything we do with an older adult, you want to keep it simple, right? Because if it gets overwhelming, they're going to say, I'm going to tap out because it's too much for me, right? So we keep it simple: sell, offer, retain, and toss. Everything in your house fits in one of those 4 piles. Once you identify where it's going to go, we can help you remove it, right? And that's the biggest problem that they have of moving out of their house. One is, I don't know where to go. And 2, what do you do with my stuff? When I first started building a company called Senior Move Managers in Declutter Hawaii, we built a company like this 14 years ago. Yeah. And a retirement community encouraged me to do it because there was no solution of its kind. So we built that company and we became that solution. In your market, there's a lot of them. What city are most of your market centers in, Meny?
Los Angeles area.
Okay. Gentle Transitions. Gentle Transitions is a good friend of mine, Greg Gunderson, 2nd generation, I think 3rd generation actually, Senior Move Manager. They're in Southern California and Northern California. And they're a great solution. And I can introduce you to them. We do seminars with them because I used to do a lot of work in California, Southern California and Northern California in expansion. And we can help you with that. And then moving and setting up their new home. That's what that Senior Move Management company does. They get rid of the stuff and they help them. They make the transition smooth, right? And that's a massive solution for this older adult and their family. Okay. And then it's preparing the home for sale. So what you want to get good at, many of you probably are, is you have solutions for everything like we do. Electrical, plumbing, roof, kitchen, floors, bathroom, pool, yard, anything that goes on, gutters, anything a client needs to fix, because know that they are concerned about not so much money as how people see them. We have clients that says, I want to fix it up. And I say, well, I don't know if you can get all your money back out of this. He says, I don't care. I just want it to look good, right? So there's a pride that oftentimes has greater value than money for this demographic, right? And respecting that is important. And then communicating and advocating for them and collaborating with trusted advisors. When I go into a listing appointment, I'm always asking, who's your trust attorney, who's your CPA, and who's your financial planner? It's in a checklist. Everybody on my team's trained to ask those questions. So turn this back about a dozen years, Meny. When I got into this business, I realized everybody needed one, so I may as well ask. I started asking, and those that I didn't know, I called them. And that was my cold calling. That was the extent of it, because I said, hey, I understand you're the financial planner for one of our clients. Are you looking to build your business? And they say, yeah, well, can we have lunch? I'd love to take you to lunch. I sat down with them. I understood their business. They understood my business. We created a relationship. They send me business. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's intentional. It's intentional. Now, when I go into a listing appointment, 9 out of 10 times, I know one of those 3 people. Oh yeah, Johnny, I just talked to Johnny last week. Oh, Mark, yeah, I played golf with him last month. Those types of things, right? Build the network, because these are the folks that are going to drive your business. Okay? Yeah. The other opportunity is investment properties. This is where a lot of folks miss the mark. When you go into a listing appointment, here's a question that most people don't ask is, what other properties do you own? What other properties do you own? See, how do you create a plan for somebody if you don't know what they own? You can't. It's kind of like going to the doctor and say, hey, doc, I don't feel good. So what's wrong? Say, I don't know. It's the same thing, right? You can't prescribe you cannot have a prescription for something unless you know what they have and what matters to them, right? So know that there's 34% of all households are rentals. That's a lot of rentals, right? Who owns those? Well, it's not the 20-year-old. It's probably not the 30-year-old. There might be some 40-year-olds owning, but who's willing to sell them? That's the 65 and over. See, they bought them a long time ago. They've got wealth in real estate, but they've never realized it yet, right? They bought it for $25,000 and now it's worth $1 million, right? And it's fine, right? But they never measured it, right? They never measured it. They never found out if that's a good investment or not. They believe it's a good investment because they got it. Of course, they're going to tell you it's a good investment. So when I asked them, how's your investment performing? He said, oh, it's great. So tell me what great looks like. Well, Johnny, he's my tenant. He's a great guy. That's what I hear all the time. He's a great guy. How long has he been there? Oh, he's been there 20 years. We never raised the rent. What does that tell you about income? Now, laws in California are a little different. I know you've got rent control out there. So some of this may or may not apply to you. But imagine if they sold a property. So we do what we call an asset performance test. And I talk to all of our investors and said, I know you have investment properties. Would you like an asset performance test? And they go, yes. And they don't even know what it is. And you probably don't know what it is because I made it up. Not really, I made it up. All it is a cash on cash analysis and a cap rate analysis. That's all it is. And you all can do that. But that's how we got to measure the performance of an asset. You know, an asset should be generating us money, right? And I tell people, because there's only two types of properties. All right, would you agree, Kim, that there's two types of property? You have a property you live in and a property you don't live in. Can we agree to that? Yeah. Okay, so if you have a property you live in, you should be making an emotional decision based on that, right? Because you're housing your family, you're going to live there. That makes sense. Then you have a property you do not live in. And you know what I'm finding? They're making emotional decisions on an investment property. And I have to switch their head. I have to change their mindset around that. Oh, Johnny's a nice guy. I like him. He's kind of part of our family. Well, they're making an emotional decision. Because I know when Johnny leaves, he's never going to talk to you again. He's not your family, right? So how should we see the investment property? Well, we should see it like any other asset, any other stock, bond, or other instrument that generates you money. How do you measure that? On its rate of return. How much money is that money making me? And that's what we're educating people today on, how to look at real estate in those lenses, the proper lenses that you really need to. And every day I'm changing the mindset of people, how they see their investment property. And I say to them, if I can improve the performance of your investment, which means you make more money every single month, would you? They say yes. I just got myself 2 transactions. Why? Because they got to sell and they got to buy, right? I'm going to run an analysis on their property. I'm going to show them some opportunities out there in the market and say, yours is performing at, and this is common, like 1.9 to 2.1. And I can get them 3.4 to 4%. Mm-hmm. And if I can do that and generate you $2,200 a month, would you want to do that? Yeah. See, it's that easy to get business. It's that easy to build the business in this model if you understand the right questions. Right? That's right. Oh, and the best thing about this demographic, they don't have a mortgage. Most of them, it's all paid off. So what do you have? You're doing a 1031 exchange. You have a seller that has agreed that they want to sell. They're motivated by time because they have to identify in 45 days. And they're the strongest cash buyer you can have because they're cash. You don't have to worry about the interest rates. So as the interest rates rise, this market's even going to be more important, right? Because if it goes to 7 and higher, as it sounds like it's gonna, right? Cash buyer's king. So there's 5 reasons seniors are burdened with their investment properties. One is the physical deficiencies. They're older, they're retired, they haven't maintained the property well, right? They're writing this out as long as they can because they don't have $15,000 for the roof. They don't want to spend that kind of money. That's the target audience. Somebody who's got deferred maintenance that they don't want to put money into it. It has a high value, has a low return. If you make that high value into another property that's the same high value, you have a higher return with no burden, you're going to win. You're going to get that listing. You're going to change that person's life, ladies and gentlemen. You know, a lot of what we've been talking about today is how you build your business, but the most important part of looking at this is how you change someone's life. You can change the life of generations to come in a massive, meaningful way once you understand what's important to them. Right? Understanding your clients matter. Right? So when I meet with a client, I'm asking them, so tell me about your kids. How many you got? I got 3 of them. I say, tell me, what's your oldest and what's his name? What does he do? What does he work? Does he have kids? Does he own his own property? Does he own investment properties? How old are the kids? Do they own their property? See, the more you understand and the more you come from curiosity, the more you're going to learn how somebody is situated with real estate. And we know that real estate builds wealth, right? So if you want to help people build wealth, you have to first understand where they are. And then you can help them build wealth, right? And in a few minutes, I'll show you more detail of how that works. So cognitive stress is a concern, meaning 85 years old, I made a lot of money on this. I don't need the money anymore. I got more money than I can spend. But boy, I'm worried about my kids. My kids are not trained like me. My kids are not going to be able to figure this out. My kids aren't going to be able to handle the tenant or fixing it up. My kids are going to, oh my gosh, my kids, right? That's what I hear all the time. My kid's going to blow it, right? That's exactly the words that they said. That's a stress to them, right? If we can remove that stress, would you like to? They say, yes. You have 2 transactions, right? Family disputes are huge. How many of you have heard of a family who fought over real estate after mom and dad died? We all did.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? Well, it happens because we're all told that we put our trust with our property in a trust and it keeps it safe. Partly true. Keeps it safe from probate. Doesn't keep you safe from your family. See, because real estate's one asset you cannot divide, right? How do you divide real estate? My client says, oh, don't worry, it'll go to my 3 kids. And then what? Oh, they'll figure it out. Hence, we have fights. Because I always ask the older adult, I say, well, let me just ask you a question. Like, how many kids you have? You got 3. He said, oh, do they all think alike? And quickly it's no. Do they act alike? No. Are they in the same economic state of mind? No. What you're doing by leaving in your trust, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to leave it in your trust until you pass away. And then one day when you're gone, you're the judge. Everyone plays nicely when you're around. When you're gone, they're now faced with the most amount of wealth they've ever seen in their life, and they don't agree. And there's past resentments and hurts and offenses that happened when they were young that they're going to bring into today's world. That's why there's fights. Mm-hmm. That's why there's fights. What if we can get in front of that? What if we can create a plan so that people don't have to have those fights? We're going to talk about that in a second. Legal issues as well, because if it's not in trust, it's going to probate. Capital gains taxes. The wealthy don't want to pay taxes. The wealthy believes taxes are a way that the government takes advantage of them. I agree, it is. But what if you knew a way that you could eliminate capital gains taxes? And that's what we can teach you. So what's the opportunity? Well, the properties are a burden. Cognitively, physically, they're a burden. They don't want to pay any capital gains taxes. They want to keep our family together. And when I ask people, if you could create an inheritance plan, would you? And they all say yes, right? They just don't know how to. They have no idea. The other opportunity is you got a really strong cash buyer now. You know how hard it is to get guys to get off the fence. This guy's got cash, and they're motivated by time. So it's a great time to do a 1031 exchange if you want to increase or upgrade your portfolio. This is for the younger baby boomer that's trying to grow. They're measuring everything. They're saying, I'm only getting 1.9 here. I want to get 2.5. Let's sell it and let's go buy this. Let's go make more money, right? Some of them are going to want to relocate that asset, right, to a different state, lower taxes, climate, whatever. Many are moving because of lower costs or maintenance. Some are wanting a higher cash flow. Many are doing it just because they don't want to fix the roof, right? They know that, man, if I don't get rid of this now, it's going to be a burden for me because then I can't rent it. If the roof leaks, my tenant's going to leave, then I got to fix the roof. So let's just sell it now before I have to deal with that. Right? Land is the best property to sell. Why? It's not generating any income. So if you have clients with land, this is a conversation you want to have with them because they're not generating any money with it. They have an asset that could be millions of dollars that do zero for them. You could put it in a bond and get 3%. You know what I mean? Just help them do that. But then you're going to pay capital gains tax unless you buy something else, right? They want to create a legacy while they're alive. The real astute investor, they realize, they turn around one day and they go, shoot, I've had this for more than 27 and a half years. Man, I don't have no depreciation expense left. I need to reset my depreciation. I need to go sell this and go buy something that I can reset my depreciation, henceforth netting me more money. Right? What if you had conversations like that with just your database? Family and friends, people you know that are not really educated or trained in how to build wealth in real estate. You're going to be the expert, and they're going to come to you for that advice. So here's the final example. Mom's a widow. Mom has 4 kids. They own $1 million asset. Let's just call it. Well, in your market, I'm going to call it 2 million because it's you're twice the value of our market probably. Right? You have a $2 million asset sitting there. It doesn't have any mortgage. Mom never lived in it. It was an investment property. It could have been given to her from her parents. It could have been something that they bought, but they own it and they don't live in it. And it's worth $2 million. And, you know, she's thinking, man, I don't want my kids fighting when we're gone. So she says, she comes to our presentation and she realizes, wow, there's a way I can do this. So she calls her kids up and says, we're going to have a family meeting. And we're going to bring Dan in. He's going to share with you a way that we're going to have a fun gift for you. Right? This is going to be a good day. So we're going to meet with them. We're going to say, we agreed to sell the $2 million asset, of which we're going to do a 1031 exchange, of which you all 4 get your prorated share in that. Because when I'm dead, you're going to get it anyways. Why do I wait till while I'm dead? Mm-hmm. Let's let you predetermine your inheritance. I'm going to let you, George, Lucy, Grant, and Ann, define what you're going to inherit when I'm gone. You get to select it in any state in America, right? Why does that work? Because most of the kids don't live in the same community and they have no interest in mom's investment property. What do they want? They want their own investment. They want to control things. They want to be empowered to build wealth. This is how we build generational wealth, through education. So we're going to go to George, Lucy, Grant, and Ann, and we're going to say, if you had $500,000 to invest in, what would you invest in? And they're going to tell us. And we say, okay, well, let's start looking for those as we're getting the home ready for sale. We're going to sell it. We're going to buy these 4. We're going to do a 1031 exchange. Mom doesn't have any burden with the investment property, doesn't have to worry about the roof anymore, right? The kids will never have to fight, and mom doesn't have to worry about that. And mom's not paying capital gains taxes. The beautiful thing is that mom's provided gifts before she's dead, and she can receive the gratitude and blessing from her children while she's alive. Guys, we're keeping families together versus splitting them apart. That's one of the things that we're doing. And if you really care about changing the world, about changing the generations to come for your families, this is the way that we've been doing it. And I got to tell you, we brought families together that never talked before, that actually hated each other before. And now they're saying, hey, how's that condo that you bought for mom helped you buy? Did you get the one that you wanted? You see, it's all bringing it together now. And they're looking up at mom and dad as a blessing, right? So we buy the 4. When mom passes away, all of them go to the kids with no capital gains tax. It's predetermined. So at the funeral, is there any fight over that investment property? Of when they're going to sell it, who's going to sell it, how much they're going to sell it for? all that's gone, right? Because you got in front of it, because you created a plan. And the byproduct of this plan is you have multiple transactions. For every sale, you're getting a buy of equal or greater value, right? What is that going to do to your business? So, ladies and gentlemen, our mission at KW Real Estate Planners is to build a community of real estate planners that facilitate conversations, provide solutions, and execute plans to build generational wealth and accomplish the goals of the family. I do a group coaching class. So this is what's going on right now. It's in March. It's a down version of the community that we have. So in our community, you have to have $75,000 of GCI or 2 years of license in good standing. If you don't, you want to take out your phone and click on this because you can actually attend the class next week. Okay. If you don't have 75,000 GCI or 2 years of license in good standing. If you do have that, you're able to get enrolled into our community. This is only for the top 5% of your marketplace, market center. And it goes through 12 months of training, 12 months of training. Each of these are recorded. We just finished Senior Relocation Services and 1031 exchanges in the first 4 months, 5 months. And now we're on DSTs and legacy planning. DSTs is a Delaware statutory trust. See, in the 1031 exchange world, we've probably done close to 300 of these, and I've never failed. And there's a reason for that. We have a model around it, right? We're proud about that. And we teach people how not to fail, to bulletproof it. A DST could be part of that solution. DST is also a good solution for somebody that says, I have investment properties. I don't want them. I want to sell them. I want money, but I don't want taxes. That's the solution. Because if you do a 1031 exchange, normally you got to sell and buy another piece of property. And they're going to say, well, I don't want that. I just want money. That's what the DST will do. No headaches, no hassles, no management, nothing. Okay. Then we're going to talk about trust sales and probate sales. Why? Because of the 2.1 million people passing away. That 80% of them own real estate. It's either going to be a trust sale or a probate sale. One of the two. What if you can get in front of that? What if you could attract them? You're going to get business. And that's what we coach and train on. Right? So we have a private Facebook group where we share leads. We do monthly masterminds and training. So imagine this, every Thursday, which is today, I have another class today on a DST class in 2 hours. We have a class with a certification test after it. Okay, so you got to watch the class and take the test. And then the other 3 days, Thursdays of the month, we have masterminds. What is that? Where we have training for tactical training, technical training, and agent spotlight training, right? Things that can pour into you to build the knowledge base that you need. And then on Mondays, every Monday, we have role playing. Why? Because on Thursdays, we're going to talk about a conversation or a question that you want to get comfortable with. Instead of leaving you out there on your own, you're in a community of people that will practice with you. You'll learn from. Every Monday, we do this. We've got up to 40, 50 people, and now we're breaking out into small breakout rooms. And it's really rich. We're learning from each other. That's the benefit of this community, is we're learning different scenarios, different situations from different people, and approaching it possibly a little differently. Okay? And all that's for $199 a month. Oh, I think that was it.
You know, Dan, I just want to echo something that, first of all, whoever is watching us right now or watching the recordings, I mean, this is really how you break through, not just to the senior community, because when you talk to one, senior, you also have access to their families. Hence, what you just mentioned earlier, that access to more properties, etc. But here's the beautiful part, and that's like so massive. And again, I'm just echoing what the message that you put out there beyond just the real estate part is you becoming an educator to so many people, but like multi-generational as well.
Yeah. When I wear this shirt around, I was in the airplane one day and the lady goes, "What's a real estate planner?" I said, "Oh, I help people build wealth and transfer wealth." And she goes, Can we talk? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He says, well, I have a property we live in, and I have 2 other properties, and I got kids, and I don't know what to do. You're going to start the conversation. right? And in the shifting market, we need more leads, ladies and gentlemen. We need a lot. And our focus is only on one thing, listings, because the buy side is going to come automatically through the 1031 exchange. Right? We also train the younger generations. When we speak like this to an older adult, they say, "Oh my gosh, can you train our kids?" I said, and our grandkids. I said, absolutely. So we bring them into a wealth building, a buyer class, right? So we do those things organically just because they're asking us to. So imagine if all day your phone rang and all day people asked you to do something versus you going out and knocking on doors and you going out and calling withdrawals and expires. It's a much more pleasant lifestyle, I got to tell you.
Well, plus in Hawaii, so I hear you. But the brand itself, Dan, the planner, I think, and I appreciate the time and explain us because it gives people more of an idea of how much bigger scope it is than just it's not just about seniors. It's about really building that education.
Yeah, it's about wealth in real estate, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what it is. Understanding how to see real estate, understanding how to measure it, understand the perspective we should have on it, understand how to transfer it without capital gains tax. It's so sad. Some people don't even know the difference between a step up in cost basis and a carryover in cost basis. That we're not educated in that way. And it's so important because that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars of pain to somebody that we could get in front of and prevent. When we prevent, I tell people that capital gains taxes is your number one enemy to generational wealth. And if you don't understand it, you're going to want to learn how to do that. You want to understand the tax laws of when you sell a property, how do you do that without paying capital gains tax? Right?
So true. Yeah. And again, look at the chat, everybody. There's a great links that Dan's team was sharing with us, the link tree with like a lot of different quick links to the webinars, websites, and other resources, and definitely highly recommended. If you want to get kind of more of that coaching time with Dan, the group coaching session.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you're interested in the KW Real Estate Planner and you want to take out your phone, click on it, and that way you'll just at least have it available. Yeah. And then you go through it and you're going to learn you're going to start seeing what other people say as well. Our community started with nobody. Now we got 350 members in a matter of months, and it's a massive movement around the country. Right. And what we're finding every single day, people are telling their success stories about the listings that they got, the conversation that it opened up to more opportunities than they could imagine. We want that for you as well.
Yeah, Dan, your mission, with all sincerity, is one of the best out there, because it's not as easy to find a really good, sharp CPA that understands real estate. Same thing for attorneys that specialize in trust, probates, but also the scope around it. And it's even harder to find a true real estate planner out there. So this is the real deal.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Hey, also, just so you know, we're planning our road trip. So there's 32 regions in our country. Our goal is to get in front of all regions, and we do it on a regional basis. So if you can gather your region around or a number of market centers around, we're traveling the country now, where every month I'm going to be in 2 to 4 cities, and I'd like to put you guys on the calendar. Right. I'd like to put you on the calendar. So let us know. My business partner, Dan Ihara, will be reaching out to you, and we'll get that on the calendar, because it's really impactful.
Oh, we're so in, Dan. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And you have a question in the chat about the QR code. The link showed February 24th, but when is the free session?
Oh, the free session. Oh, good question. Let me get that back to you. We just did a free session last week. I do a free coaching session like this every month for KW Real Estate Planner. The group coaching started. So the group coaching, hang on a second. Oops. Is this one? This just started yesterday. And you can still sign up for this because it's recorded. And then you can hop on the live one next week. And then there's 3 more of those. So yeah, click on that if you're interested in the group coaching. And then the KW rep link, go study that, learn about it. And if you, once you review everything and you have further questions, there's a talk to Dan button on the bottom that you can just, you'll get in my calendar for 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Right.
Any other questions?
No, we don't have more questions, but we're going to be on the lookout for your team member said the free webinar is March 31st. We're going to be on the
Okay.
lookout for that link, and we're going to share with our community over here in SoCal. But Dan, thank you so much for your precious time. This is really good stuff, real stuff, and we're going to see you in person soon. We're going to reach out and schedule that as well.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right,
Have a nice
Dan,
day.
Thank
Aloha.
you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, here.